Welcome to this presentation, and in this presentation I am going to talk about the immobilization and the industrial preparation of the enzymes. Before landing into the immobilization techniques, we should know what is an enzyme. So enzymes are proteins that act as biological catalysts, and these catalysts accelerate chemical reactions. The molecules upon which enzymes may act are called as substrates, and enzyme converts the substrate into different molecules known as products. Biological enzymes can be simple peptide or complex polypeptides. Most enzymes are affected by temperature, concentration of substrate, concentration of product which is being formed there, and allosteric effect. Allosteric effect, you know that enzyme is having this active site if any other compound, not the substrate, is attached to the other phase of this enzyme, then this active site may get deformed and it may lose its function. So those effects are known as allosteric effects. Then again, pH is another factor in enzyme activity, and mechanism of enzyme can be represented by this picture. So this is an enzyme, it is having active site, and this substrate which is quite this is like very complementary structure. It is not like complementary like DNA, but complementary means it will be fitted. So in that it will get bind with that substrate and it will form enzyme substrate complex, and there will be some energy graphs which we generally don't talk here. We usually see in the kinetic chemistry. So those will be formed, and according to that whether energy will be released or taken, based on that the reaction will be endothermic and exothermic, and at the end of that these product and enzyme will separate it, and here you can see this substrate is converted into the product, or sometimes substrate is broken into the products, or sometimes many substrates are accumulated by enzyme and they are joined together, or it will be called like addition reaction, and they will form a combined product. So there are based on the number of reactions the nature of product may vary, but moreover the mechanism of an enzyme will be similar. So here we will talk about the immobilization of enzymes. So as we know, being a protein structure, enzymes are so highly sensitive to the various denaturing conditions when they are isolated from the natural environments. As we all know that also we have heard that membrane bound enzymes, and most of the enzymes are within a cell are bind to the membrane, or they are packed within the vesicles known as the lysosomes, and some enzymes can be present at their own target sites, and they are having their own microenvironment within a cell, so that they protect themselves from being denatured. So their sensitivity to process conditions such as temperature, pH, substrate at trace level can act as inhibitor which add to their costs. One of the most successful methods proposed to overcome these limitations is use of an immobilization strategy. So immobilization is a technical process in which enzymes are fixed to or within a solid support which is known as matrices, creating a heterogeneous immobilized enzyme system. So immobilized form of enzyme mimic their natural mode of living within a cell, where most of them are attracted to the cellular cytoskeleton, membrane and organelle structure, as I told that what are the most sites within a cell where enzymes are present in abundant. In addition, the reaction products are not contaminated with the enzyme, especially useful in the food and pharmaceutical industries. In the case of protease, the rate of autolysis process can be dramatically reduced upon immobilization. As you know, the protease, or protease enzyme, its name itself reveals that this enzyme works on the proteins and it destroys them. So enzyme already is a protein, so maybe there are number cluster of the enzymes, and maybe one molecule of that enzyme started working on other enzymes and it will denature or destroy all the enzymes. So for that, to keep those enzymes in an inactive form, and that can be used in the upcoming time, we need a immobilization there. So here are the techniques of the enzyme immobilization. So first technique, or first class of techniques, is known as the physical methods, and second class of the immobilization techniques are known as chemical techniques or chemical methods. So though immobilization is not new technology, but it is used in industrial field, started in recent decades. So we will see in the upcoming slide what are the physical methods and what are the chemical methods to immobilize enzyme. So physical immobilization, enzymes attachment onto a different matrices, which I told that are the solid materials, via physical forces involving van der Waals forces, hydrophobic interactions, hydrogen bonding. Following physical immobilization techniques, like mainly three are there: the entrapment, microencapsulation, absorption. So here you can see this is encapsulation, or you can call it microencapsulation. We are immobilizing the enzyme. And another one is the entrapment, and another one is the adsorption. So we will see what is the entrapment and microencapsulation and adsorption in following slide. So this is the entrapment. So what is the entrapment? First we should see this diagram, that there is a matrices, they have some sort of the column sort of the thing. There the enzymes are fixed. So each enzyme is separated in within micro chambers, you can call it. So that way we can entrapment these enzymes in solid matrices. So here we will see this involves, the entrapment involves cross-linking of the enzymes to a polymer. What are the polymers used there? Either alginates or polyacrylamide in every direction, covering almost every side chain. Whatever side chain of enzyme is there, covered within the matrices. And the physical entrapment with the polymer is done here. Another way is that microencapsulation. So you can see here, this is a capsule sort of thing over the enzymes. So we will see what it is actually. Enzymes are immobilized by enclosing them within spherical semi-permeable polymer membranes with controlled porosity. The pores will be here on the capsule, whose size can be within 1 to 100 micrometer. Semi-permeable membranes can either be permanent or non-permanent membranes based on the constituent what we are trying to encapsulate over there. Permanent membranes are made of the cellulose nitrate and polystyrene, while the non-permanent membranes are made of liquid surfactants. There are two methods, whether you have to choose the such encapsulation media which is semi-permeable, or you just don't want any permeability there, then you can go for the liquid surfactant which are mostly non-permeable or non-permanent semi-permeable medium. Another method in the physical immobilization is the adsorption. So as we know, adsorption is a mechanism in which a solid body or solid material's upper layer forms a bonding with the mostly with the liquid, and that liquid is not fully soaked within that solid material, but it will be penetrate to the some deep and it will form a bond sort of thing. It is not like a sponge soaking water. It is like when you dip your chalk piece into a ink, then you will see that ink can penetrate to the little deep in the chalk piece but not fully. So that phenomenon is known as the adsorption. And here we will see that how we can use this adsorption technology into the our immobilization of enzymes. So enzymes is attached to a support material by non-covalent linkage. Non-covalent means it may be metallic. You can see here also plus minus. So mostly these bonds are metallic bonds. So enzymes is attached to the support material by non-covalent linkage including ionic or hydrophobic interactions, hydrogen bindings and van der Waals forces without any pre-activation of support. What thing is important here, that no pre-activation of support will be done. When these both enzymes and the matrices are interacting, that time only the activation will happen, and after that it will lead to a neutralization so that we can easily keep or store these immobilized enzymes. The matrices used are either organic or inorganic in nature. For example, ceramic, alumina, activated carbon, kaolinite, bentonite, porous glass. Hence, the enzyme is directly added to surface active adsorbent. It is known as without the removal of any non-absorbed enzyme during the washing. Example of this method are the asparagines on the CM cellulose surface. This way the immobilization is done for this particular enzyme. Here we will see that what are the chemical methods or chemical techniques of the immobilization of enzymes. So this involves attachment of the enzyme onto the different matrices using covalent or ionic bond. The process is irreversible. In the first method, the physical method, the process was also we were using the matrices, and but there anytime we could separate those enzymes very easily and we can use that. But here in the chemical immobilization there is a strong bonds are formed because here is more chemical reactions or chemical forces are being used to make that enzyme non-active or saving from the denaturing. So this process is irreversible. Here we have to use other things, other furthermore reactions or furthermore reactants to get that enzyme back so that we can utilize in our upcoming uses. So there are mostly four methods of chemical immobilization. One is the covalent attachment, another one is the cross-linking, and third one is the ionic bonding, and fourth one is the conjugation affinity ligand. So we will see one by one into upcoming slides. So first one is the covalent attachment. As this name itself suggests is that one will be matrices which will be used to satisfy all the active sites of enzyme so that there will be no active site remained within an enzyme or active chain we will call it. And once this all the chains or their valency is satisfied, they will not try to bind with other enzymes or interact with other products like interact with the other compounds like ligand or protein. You know that mostly enzymes having two sort of the interaction. One is the protein interaction and another is the protein ligand interaction. So once if we try to satisfy all the valencies of the active chains of a particular enzyme, in this way we can immobilize, and that particular enzyme can be stored for a long time. So in this we will see the enzyme is attached to the matrices by means of covalent bonds. These bonds can be very complex one also, like di-azotation, amino bond, Sif bond formation, amidation, thiodisulfide peptide bond, and alkylation reactions. As I told, there are more the complex reactions are happening here, so that, and also we have to use such matrices which is having the highest affinity to the enzyme, to the compared to the all other compounds which may be present, so that whatever the matrices we use, that should form the strongest bond. Other than that, what will happen if suppose any other compound came interaction with that particular immobilized enzyme, and that is having more strong bond, then it will easily replace the matrices. So we have to use such matrices which is forming the very strong bond with the enzyme, so that it can be replaced and enzyme can be stored without denaturing or without being destroyed. So enzyme molecules are attached either directly to the reactive groups like hydroxylamide, amino carboxylic groups, which is artificially attached to the matrices, though various chemical reactions like di-azotation, Sif base, imine bond formation. Matrices commonly used are the either natural like glass, spadix, agarose, Cipherose, or synthetic matrices also are being used like acrylamide, methacrylic acid, styrene, etc. Another method of the chemical immobilization is the cross-linking. What happens here? You can see here, all are the enzymes, and enzyme there is like enzyme itself are interacting with each other to satisfy their active chains, so that there will be no active chain will be remained vacant. So even though it comes to the other near to the other compound, it will not interact with them, and hence the denaturation of enzyme will not happen. So we will see here, this involves formation of a number of covalent bonds between enzyme and matrices using bi or multifunctional reagents like you can see here, like glutaraldehyde, glutaraldehyde, and glycosol, and others also. Generally amino acid groups of lysine and sulfhydryl groups of cysteine, phenolic OH groups of tyrosine, and the imidazole groups of the histidine are used for enzyme binding under the mild conditions. The main advantage of this method is that it's very simple. We don't have to find very complex matrices. When the enzyme itself is forming the bonds, we can provide little support of the matrices, so that even if there is any vacancy, like for few vacancies will be left of the active chain, that can be satisfied with the matrices, and all other valencies will be satisfied with the enzyme interaction itself. So this is the very simple process. However, it leads to the loss of the large amount of enzyme due to the non-regulation of reaction. So as we have lots of the active chains within an enzyme, and any chain which is being can attach to the any chain of the enzyme, and they can form very much complex structure, and that can lead to a problem. But still, it is a cost-effective method of immobilization. So, okay, another one method is ionic bonding. So this is based on the ionic interaction between enzyme and molecules with a charged matrices. Here matrices what we using is a charged. Another matrices we were using which were having some valencies, or they were able to get induced to give the charge, but here already charged matrices we are using. So here The higher the surface charge density on matrix, the greater would be the amount of enzyme being bound to the matrix. Sometimes, in addition to ionic interaction, enzyme molecules are also physically absorbed to matrices. The method of enzyme immobilization is similar to that discussed in the section of physical adsorption. I told you physical adsorption, there will be a bond formation, but when the enzyme is coming, then both will be inducing the bond, like you know, the suppose the two are there, so one will be getting charge positive and one will be getting negative, so that they, but here already we are using the charge matrices and then bring to the enzyme, so here it is a difference. Enzyme binding via ionic interaction during immobilization depends on the pH of solution, the concentration of enzyme and temperature. Commonly used matrices are the polysaccharide derivatives, their number of poly, and synthetic polymers also, like polystyrene derivatives, polyethylene derivatives, and inorganic materials also, like alumina, silicates, bentonite, sapiolite, silica gel, etc. This method of immobilization leads to the minimal changes in enzyme conformation, because whatever bonds are being formed here are not the organic bonds. Here whatever bond we are forming, they are just metallic bonds, so there is not much movement of the particular molecule, only the charge is being transferred, and this charge can be easily neutralized by various other means, and we can return the original enzyme and we can use that in our particular whatever we want to use the enzyme for. Last matter in the chemical immobilization is the conjugation affinity ligand. So as I had told you there, that protein-protein interaction and protein ligand interaction can happen. So that another phenomena, what I told, that protein ligand interaction phenomena is being used here to protect or immobilize the particular enzyme. So we will see what is that. So attachment of enzyme to the matrices using specific ligands. So what will be doing the ligands here? That enzyme will be not directly attached to the matrices. The enzyme will first attach to the ligand, and ligand will attach to the matrices. So ligand is a in between molecules, so that it is very significant, so that if the protein directly is not interacting with the matrices and the ligand is mediating, so in that situation the enzyme can be more safe, because it is not being exposed to the another protein or another matrices, and ligands are usually chosen which are well fitted for that particular enzymes, as we know that most of the enzymes are the polypeptides, and in polypeptide there will be lots of the hydrogen molecules, and especially the water molecules are there, and when we are trying to use the docking, usually in the medicinal it is a medicinal technology where we use the ligands to remove the water molecule and fit the ligands over there, so that there will be no deformation due to the hydrophilic and hydrophobic thing within an enzyme. So same thing here also, we can use ligand will be used so that this enzymes are not being interacted to the other molecules directly, so that their active chains or active sites will be not deformed. So we will see it again, like attachment of enzyme to the matrices using a specific ligand, like his tag on enzyme to a metal containing matrices, lectin contaminating domain, carbohydrate nucleic present in the matrix, and sometimes substrate making the chemical compounds are also used as ligands. In some cases, ligands are naturally present on the enzyme, which in other cases they are attached artificially by fusing the nucleotide sequence corresponding to the tag with the DNA encoding for a polypeptide of the given enzyme. So we don't have to even provide the ligands from the outside, even we can put the some nucleotide sequence by various gene editing technologies like CRISPR and many more. So, or using the vector. So, what will happen that that particular sequence itself will form the ligands, and those will be naturally attached to that particular proteins, and hence we can avoid using the ligands from the outside or artificial medium. This method of immobilization leads to the minimal changes in the conformation of enzymes, as I already have told you, with the high stability of catalytic efficiency of the immobilized enzyme due to the non-involvement of active site residues and higher immobilization efficiency due to the presence of high density of ligands on the matrices. This is the particular thing, like this is the matrices, and this is a ligand, this is a protein, and this ligand will form like a bridge between two, and it will hold the enzyme on the matrices. So these are the some important immobilized enzymes, and the method is also mentioned here by which method they are being produced or being immobilized, and there is a appropriate stimuli like how we will activate those enzymes. That factor is given here. Like suppose for example we are taking this chitosan. Chitosan is a enzyme. Chitosan is a suppose this is the matrices, this is the enzyme what we are trying to immobilize there. This is the immobilization method, and this is the stimuli, like how we will activate that enzyme again. So suppose there is a trypsin enzyme, and we are using the matrices for immobilization. Is that N-isopropyl acrylamide, and what method is being used here? The coupling, like via dicyclohexyl carbodiamide and N-hydroxyl succinamide bonds will be formed here, and hence this way we are immobilizing that. And this can be activated, the enzyme can be activated again by introducing or inducing the temperature variations. And another, suppose another we are taking like this one pectinase enzyme. So matrices for this is used as K-carrageenan, and method for immobilization is used at the adsorption, and here K plus can be used as K plus is a cation, or you can say we call it potassium. Potassium ions can be used here to induce the activity of enzyme again. So this is the table, you can see this, and after this I would like to tell about some properties of the immobilized enzymes. So in this process we will say that during enzyme immobilization there is a change in this microenvironment due to the varied interaction to the matrices, which I already have told you, and they can get interaction with the substrates and their products also. So we have to check what are the properties or what your qualities of immobilized enzyme will be having. So we will start with like partial effects. So partial effects, see, this immobilization technology is good, but it is not like 100% proof that there will be no denaturing effect on enzyme. Obviously not. It is like reducing the chances of enzyme to get denatured, but it is not like that ki immobilized enzyme is 100% safe. They can get interaction with their matrices also, and within the enzyme itself one side chain can get, because they need some environment like appropriate pH and other things to make them active. So if an enzyme is not active, then there is no use of putting that particular enzyme in immobilized medium. Another is the binding mode, crucial determinant. So binding mode is for a particular enzyme, it have its own binding sites and other things. So once we are immobilizing, we have to make sure that those particular sites which get little bit exposure to bind to the matrices and other things, so the binding mode of particular enzymes would not get changed. Another one is the molecular orientation of an enzyme. So as I told in the chemical immobilization techniques, the molecular orientation of enzyme can get changed because of the various interactions it makes, like a very strong bonds it makes. So there may be some like reactions like diagitation and disulfoxiding bonds, which can lead the permanent bonding or permanent they can become the part of a particular enzyme. So the molecular orientation of enzyme can get changed, and effect of microenvironment of enzyme, as I told, the material which we are using into the matrices, that plays a very significant role here. And diffusional concentracy, there is not 100% that that particular enzyme is being entrapped. So there may be some diffusions, like enzyme may get diffused in a prolonged time of immobilization. And conformational changes, as I already told, that as soon as the side chains are will be interacting with the ligand or matrices, there will be definitely some conformational changes will be occurring. So we will also talk about some other things here, like what will be the other things which can make a immobilization technology more applicable. So one is the optimum pH. So we have to, based on the pKa of a particular enzyme, we have to maintain the appropriate buffer medium for a particular enzyme. And another factor is temperature. So as we know that most of the enzymes work like around 23 to 435 or 40 degrees Celsius temperature. So, and there are some enzymes which needs a very specific. There are some enzymes which can tolerate to the wide range, like from 23 to 45. But there are particular enzymes which are only what say can be stored or protected at a very specific temperature range. And also one thing we should know, that for we say that okay, most of the proteins we can put them in a cryo condition so that they don't get activated. But for most of the enzymes, the cryo technique, like putting the enzymes in a very cold medium, is not effective, not preferred at all. And another factor can be here the kinetic promoters, like changes in the kinetic promoters like Km, Vmax, Kcat, and other things which you can get from the other enzyme parameters, that also should be considered before making them or putting them in a immobilized form. So these are the things, if you take care, we can definitely prepare the good quality of the industrial enzymes which can be used in the industrial application and also can be sold in a very significant way. So this was all from my side, and hope we learned something today, and with this I will end my presentation. Thank you so much.